It's time for Fantasy Football Semi-Pros. Let's do it.
Welcome back to another episode of Fantasy Football Semi-Pros. I'm Brandon. With me again is Ryan. Ryan,
What up?
you looking forward to your 4-day weekend?
Yeah, I got tomorrow and Monday off. And hey, guess what? It's double XP for clans, operators, just the overall player, weapons, and battle pass. Double XP this weekend. Call of Duty Vanguard. So I'm working on leveling up all the weapons to level 70, and then I'll go back through and do all the camos. Woo, it's gonna be a long weekend. No sleep till Brooklyn.
You might as well just start a streaming channel.
I might as well.
I mean,
The
you already
grind.
have the Twitch account.
I do have a Twitch account, which I gotta open ours up. Come on, falling behind here. What
All
about
right.
you? You got tomorrow off too.
I got tomorrow off, yeah. I'm debating on whether or not to go see the new Spider-Man movie tomorrow.
Are we gonna play some Call of Duty until then?
We'll see.
Come on, man.
We'll see.
This is the perfect time to level up all your weapons. And you were just telling me the other day how you were a little mad at yourself for not taking advantage of double weapon XP last weekend.
I never said that.
You said, well, I kind of,
No,
I
what I
should have really
said
taken
was,
advantage of leveling
I
up
sent you
guns."
that one post on Twitter that's saying that it takes the average streamer 7 straight hours to level up a gun entirely.
Yeah, from level 1 to 70. I've been doing it in about 6 to 8, depending on the gun.
Yeah.
SMGs were rough with the long shots, but ARs were pretty easy. It took me about 6 to 8 hours a gun for ARs. SMGs were a little longer. Now on the shotgun. Woo.
But we're a little off track here.
Yeah, sorry. Hey, we're people too, all right? We just like football and we have other interests.
All right. So we'll start with the ESPN Pick'em results from last week.
I win again.
Well, we tied.
I still win.
11-3, but you had the overall record on me. You're still leading our group.
I got a 13-game lead on you, man.
Yeah, we both went 11-3 on the week though.
Not too shabby.
As for DFS, I think I take my first overall series lead this week. I scored 188.6 points, and you scored a whopping 93.84.
Yeah, I'm not very good at DFS, and I don't know why. I try to play matchups. I try to do all this other stuff. Maybe I need to go, okay, who's going to have to perform? Who's going to play from behind? Who's going to have to score points? You know what I'm saying? Maybe that's the thing I got to do.
I will say with my 188.6, I took first in our league for the second straight week.
Yeah, great.
So I'm heating in the NBA Jam rules. I'm heating up.
Next week you might be on fire.
I like how a sleeper does that with teams.
Yeah. Well, I haven't had that all year, so
I've got it in our dynasty league.
just to fill everybody in, make it or break it week was not
Freaking
good for
Aaron
me.
Jones.
Not good for me, man. I went. Well, I beat the median, didn't I? I think.
I don't think so. If you beat the median, you would have beat Devin. Or you would have knocked Devin out of the median.
I don't know. Don't care. I didn't make the playoffs in any of the 3 leagues I'm in. It was rough, man. Losing Kyler Murray and Alvin Kamara, and then Derrick Henry.
Well,
another
in
league.
all fairness, one of the leagues you're in, it was a orphan that you took over. That's a big rebuild.
Oh, well,
right
yeah,
now.
that's a dynasty league. That was a rebuild from the start, pretty much. After finishing 7th last year, I was like, I don't think I made the playoffs last year. It don't matter.
But no, last week you did not beat the median.
Oh, man, I went 0-4. No. Because I won in the team that I'm rebuilding.
Because you won, it dropped me from the 3rd overall pick to the 4th overall
You're
pick.
welcome.
Well, because I won too, but you were supposed to lose. But I still have your first overall pick. So
I only scored over 100 points in that league twice this year. Two of my wins were less than 100 points. I only won 3 times.
That was me last year. Don't worry.
I only had 3 wins, so one of the 2 times I scored over 100 points, I lost.
All right. So, we're going to move on.
Damn, 2 Saturday games. Ooh.
Yep, so we'll go ahead and hit the Week 15 preview. We won't preview tonight's game.
We both took Chiefs.
Yep, we both took Chiefs. I kind of questioned that, but I'm just going to stick with my first call.
Yeah, me too. Sticking with my gut.
So we do have 2 Saturday games. Keep an eye out on this first one, though. There's been a lot of COVID issues on this Browns roster.
And Baker Mayfield is bad.
Understandably. But the NFL has said they don't plan on moving games, but it could happen.
Remember
The only thing that could affect this
the
is
Steelers played on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
Like 3 o'clock.
Wednesday afternoon football. The only thing that could affect this, though, is the Browns are supposed to play on Christmas Day, too.
Huh.
So, I mean, if it gets pushed back a day, I don't see that being an issue.
Nah.
But if it gets pushed back to Monday, I can see the Browns game being moved to Sunday.
Yeah, because Christmas is on a Saturday this year.
Yep.
Well, I mean, we see a lot of these positive COVID tests now coming from players that say they are fully vaccinated and are mostly asymptomatic. And that's the scary part about this, because this is now playoff week for us. And for most leagues around the country, this is playoff weeks. And if your guys aren't playing, man, you got to ask the NFL, what are you doing?
Yeah. But, so on this game, the Raiders, while they're not really affected by COVID, Foster Moreau was limited yesterday with an abdomen injury. Darren Waller did not practice yesterday and today and was ruled out.
Yeah.
And as for the Browns, Kareem Hunt didn't practice yesterday. They didn't really practice today, so we can't really say. Actually, they did practice today, sorry, but the news hadn't come out on the injury report.
By the time he headed over.
Baker Mayfield, he tested positive, as you said. He's on the reserve COVID list. Well, I was on my way over, sitting in 32 minutes worth of traffic.
Sorry.
At one point, I thought I was going to have to pitch a tent and just live there on the side of the road.
Okay.
Case Keenum was placed on the reserve COVID list.
So Nick Mullins is the projected starter for Saturday against the Vegas Raiders.
With San Francisco, we've actually seen Mullins perform well.
Yeah, he's got experience, that's for sure, but he's not Mayfield.
As for the pass catchers for the Browns, Harrison Bryant, he was limited on Tuesday. Austin Hooper's been placed on the reserve COVID list. Landry's been placed on the reserve COVID list. Good news is, though, David Njoku's been removed from the reserve COVID list.
Mm-hmm.
And he's athletic enough that we saw Hooper have a good game last week. This could be the David Njoku show.
Or Donovan Peoples-Jones show, because Landry might not play.
I still think Donovan Peoples-Jones is more of a deep threat guy.
Oh, well.
David Njoku could be that possession guy that Landry is.
All I'm going to say is Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs lit this defense up a couple weeks ago.
The Raiders? Yeah.
Yeah.
Last week.
And the first time they played. I mean, the Chiefs, first time they played, Patrick Mahomes threw for 5 touchdowns, and a lot of them were over 35 yards.
But I will say, in all fairness, Mahomes, for some reason, has the Raiders' number.
Yeah. Some people got it.
Yep. So, really, Derek Carr, Josh Jacobs isn't the worst start. He's had decent floor lately.
Right.
He's not going to go out there and win you the week, but he's not going to lose it for you.
No. And it's hard because last week the Chiefs really stopped the run, and Jacobs really salvaged the day with receptions. I think he had 5.
Yeah.
But that might be the game plan now. Kenyon Drake's out for the season, so maybe they do work him into the passing game more.
Yeah. And then Hunter Renfrow. I think he's a staple in your lineup right now, especially when Waller's out.
Yep, he's doing really well.
So, we'll jump into this. Who is your pick for this game?
You know what? With all of the negativity and blah, blah, blah with COVID, I'm going to go with the Browns at home this week.
I've been thinking all week I was going to pick the Browns. Last time Baker Mayfield was a late scratch.
The Browns won.
Flipped, and the Browns won.
Yeah, they were playing, I can't remember.
Baltimore? No, not Baltimore.
Wasn't Baltimore. Denver.
Yes.
And I stayed, but
no, you flipped too, I thought.
No, there was 2 games where I've
you
stayed.
Flipped that game, but later on.
Oh yeah, it was like Aaron Rodgers sat out, or no, Devontae Adams was out or something. I don't know what's going on, but yeah.
Well, anyways, with that, I'm going to stay with the Browns this time.
Yeah, sometimes sometimes it doesn't make sense to pick the team that you're picking, but sometimes teams rally, man. I mean, the Rams really took it to the Cardinals last weekend, or actually Monday night.
All right, in our Saturday night football game, we had the Patriots at the Colts.
Excited for this one.
The Patriots in this one are favored by, or the Colts are favored by 2.5 points. Sorry.
That swung though because initially opening Patriots were the favorites.
There's been a lot. I was entering those in. I can't remember which ones exactly, but there was a lot of spreads that swapped.
Yep. Yeah, I believe it.
But in this game, Damian Harris, he was limited with the hamstring injury yesterday. So surprisingly, we could see him play, but those soft tissue injuries can be a little bit tricky. So I don't know if I'm trusting him. And then Ryan's favorite,
Doyle rules.
Jack Doyle.
Jack Doyle.
He was limited yesterday with an ankle issue. So for Colts pass catchers, they're likely going to have a tough week this week. The Patriots, they've allowed the 4th fewest fantasy points to wide receivers, including the 5th fewest to the perimeter.
Mm-hmm.
And the only guy you're really looking to start, Michael Pittman, he's going to be likely shadowed by J.C. Jackson, who's been very good this year.
Yeah, I would temper expectations for this Colts passing game, but you know what I do say?
Start your studs.
Start your studs.
And who'd you learn that from?
Run, Taylor, run. You. I learned it from you. Run, Taylor, all day long.
I agree.
40 carries against this defense. Eventually, they're going to get tired.
All right, so who are you picking this game?
I'm taking the Colts, man.
Interesting.
I know a lot of people are I think the Patriots are a really good defense. I just think that this Colts team is better than what their record shows.
I mean, the record shows 7-6. I am going to take the Patriots, though. Okay. The Patriots have been playing good ball.
They have been, and I agree 100%. They've played some really good games, and Mac Jones is really taking control of that offense. That defense is studly. But I for some reason, my gut's telling me Indianapolis.
Fair enough. I mean, I'm not going to argue with you. That one's.
This should be a good game. I want to come home and watch it.
Come home? Shouldn't you already be home?
Family stuff. Maybe a birthday party or something. I don't know. I can't remember.
All right. Well, we'll start with the Sunday games. We'll start with Panthers at the Bills. The Bills are 10.5-point favorites.
Yeah.
News on Sam Darnold. He has been designated a return. He's returned to practice. But they said yesterday when he practiced, he was just kind of there just tossing the ball around. He didn't actually practice.
Practice?
And,
about a game.
And Darnold is still likely a week or two away.
Okay.
DJ Moore, he was limited yesterday and today, which is good news. So they were projecting that he could miss some time, but it looks like he should be available on Sunday.
Yeah.
And then
Miles Sanders.
No, it's not Emmanuel Sanders. He is out for Sunday, actually.
Oh, okay.
So that actually puts a huge bump
for the
Eagles. Yep, that puts a huge bump on Gabe Davis.
Yeah. Bump him up. Bump him up.
And then Josh Allen, he was limited yesterday with a toe issue.
Yeah, he'll be fine.
Yep. So who are you taking in this game?
You already know. I'm never picking the Carolina Panthers again. I'm taking the Bills.
I believe you picked them last week.
No, I didn't.
Panthers over the Falcons?
I picked the Falcons.
Fair.
Check the record. Go back and look.
I am going with the Bills as well. All right, so that moves us to our next game. The Jets and the Dolphins.
Oh.
And the Jets, they're getting a little healthier.
Yeah.
They're getting Tevin Coleman back. He was a full participant Wednesday. But in bigger news, they're getting Michael Carter back.
This week or next week?
I think they're hoping that he can play this week. And he's somebody that he's been practicing. He could be cleared this week.
Okay.
As for the Dolphins, they're going the other way. Shaheen, he was limited with the knee issue. I think one of their tight ends.
I was gonna say like one of their 5 that they use.
But their running back room, Lindsey, Ahmed, Gaskin, and Dokes have all been placed on the reserve COVID list. But good news, Malcolm Brown could be coming back.
Malcolm Brown.
So DFS, that might be a great dart throw. Cheap dart throw.
Probably like a grand maybe.
Now,
Yeah, because you can run on this Jets.
the big news, and this killed me in 2 leagues, 3 leagues.
Waddle,
Jalen
waddle,
Waddle's
waddle.
Jalen Waddle, he will not be waddling this week.
He's on
field.
the.
Then he waddled away, waddle, waddle, till the very next day.
Yep, he was placed on the COVID list today.
Nah.
It's unfortunate, but that could mean big games for Gesicki and Parker.
I hope so because I lost Hawkinson for the season, and I'm in the losers bracket, but I still play for pride. Damn it, I play for keeps.
Well, not only that, we have interesting draft a way to pick the
Implications.
draft. Yeah. So basically what we like to do, depending on how you finish in the league, you pick you get your pick of the playoff team. So whoever finishes first gets the first pick of the NFL playoff teams.
So
And-
whoever they think is going to win the Super Bowl, they get first shot at that.
Yeah, and so basically, if your team wins the Super Bowl, you get the first pick. Second place team gets second, and so on.
I finished 4th, and the Buccaneers were available, so I took Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. I finished 4th in the league. The Buccaneers were available, so I took the Buccaneers as my team to represent me. They won the Super Bowl, so I had the number 1 overall pick this prior draft for this season. So that's how we do it.
Yeah, it was just one way I could think of that wasn't a lot of work on everybody that keeps people interested even through the playoffs.
Yeah, man. Pretty fun.
So
I do like the losers brackets and playing, 5th
For
place
pride.
and 7th place and 3rd place games. That's pretty cool. At least you get to stay active in the league for
which I think is important.
a
and that
couple
was-
more weeks.
I think that's important. I believe that was one of my suggestions that we had earlier in the year.
Mhm.
Just stay active even when you're out of it. But like in one of the dynasty leagues if we win the losers bracket, we get our money back.
Yeah,
for
the
the
one
league.
I'm in. Yeah.
So that's another reason to keep playing too. All right,
I'm gonna make
and
a run for it somehow. I don't know how, but I'm gonna do it.
so I will say, even with all this COVID news, they still haven't lost to. I'm gonna go with the Dolphins.
Yeah, me too. I'm taking the Dolphins at home.
All right, so our next game we had the Washington football team at the Eagles. The Washington football team, they're another team that's been hit hard with this COVID bug.
Yeah.
But Terry McLaurin, he suffered a concussion on Sunday. He didn't practice yesterday, but was limited today, so that's a good sign. J.D. McKissick, who had a concussion 2-3 weeks ago,
I think 3.
he hasn't practiced at all this week, so that's good news for Antonio Gibson.
Yeah.
And this is a team that Gibson can run on.
Maybe Jarrett Patterson gets in there and runs too. My boy from Buffalo. Oh, we got a question?
Yeah, firefighter. I think he's asking, should I start Eckler tonight with his injury?
Yes.
Yeah. Eckler's way too talented. His PPR skill, you're not benching Eckler. He's full go. I haven't heard anything saying that he's limited.
Yeah, I haven't either.
I would start him and not even think about it.
Yeah, he's my RB1 if I have him, unless I have Derrick Henry or Alvin Kamara who are healthy. But Kamara or Eckler's up there, man. Yeah, you got to play him full PPR. Yeah, play him.
And then back to the Washington football team at the Eagles. Curtis Samuel, he didn't practice yesterday and today with his groin issue. And then
I don't know if they play him the rest of the year because he has not been doing well, even when he's in there.
And then some more news on Logan Thomas. They did some further tests, and it did reveal he tore his ACL,
Ow,
unfortunately.
Man. Yeah. Well, my dream didn't come true last week where I had a dream that I took a job in Arizona for some reason and just uprooted me, my wife, and our dogs and moved to Arizona. And in the same dream, Ricky Seals-Jones last week went off for 47 points. So I played him in all 3 of my leagues. I think he scored like 1.3 points. So that did not work out in my favor.
So I will say Kyle Allen, the backup QB, he's been placed on the reserve COVID list. But Ron Rivera, he came out and said that Heineke, he is banged up, but he is on track to play.
Cook, as in Dalvin Cook?
Most likely. He's
I
definitely on there.
I think because
I would go
Jav-
Eckler and Cook.
Yeah, me too. I just think Hey, look, Javonta's a great athlete. Javonta Williams is a great running back.
The Bengals have been better against the run than people think,
That and he splits time with Melvin Gordon.
and he's battling an injury himself, which we'll talk about later.
Wasn't aware of that, but yeah, okay. But yeah, I'm still going with Eckler and Cook. Those two dudes are just studs, man. Not that Williams isn't. He's just splitting carries, splitting touches with Melvin Gordon.
Yep. So as for the Eagles in this game, Jordan Howard was limited yesterday. Sanders was limited. And I think both of them are on track to play. Jalen Hurts, though, he's been limited both today and yesterday. He has a high ankle sprain, which can be kind of tricky. He has been splitting his first team reps, though, in practice with Minshew, just in case he can't go.
Mustache Minshew.
I will say, though, Terry McLaurin, if he does play, he's likely going to have a tough matchup.
Yeah.
Darius Slay is likely going to shadow him. And on the 20 routes that Slay covered McLaurin in week 1, he only had 2 targets.
That's not a good. That's 10%.
Yeah. And so I'd be hesitant to start McLaurin if he does play. I think once he gets a better quarterback, he's a staple in your lineup. It doesn't matter the matchup, but right now it's kind of difficult.
I would agree with you there.
So who are you picking for this game?
Man, I like the football team. I'm not picking them. I'm not picking them. I'm simply saying my heart goes out to Washington. I've picked them a few times, and I've been right a few times. I've been wrong a few times, but I don't know. I think the Eagles are just a step ahead, and I think they're going to prove it this week. This is a divisional game, right?
It is a divisional game. Both are on the fringe of the playoffs at 6 and 7.
I think there's so much riding on this game, and I think Philadelphia comes out and says, "Hey, we're better than what we've shown."
I think Taylor Heineke's just somebody I want to root for.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you want to root for
Antonio Gibson. I really like Antonio Gibson.
Yeah, it's just kind of like the offense over here is like this little ragtag team of misfit toys with some really good toys, but there's some underdog toys that you're like, yeah, come on, man, I want to see you do well. I want to see you succeed for the little guy. But yeah,
I think in this game I am gonna go with the Eagles though. I want to pick the football team, but it's difficult. Yeah, and Firefighter, we'll actually talk about that one more later. I would start Renfro over Evans right now.
yeah, Renfro's got to be playing.
We'll actually touch on the Evans being guarded by Lattimore thing later.
Yeah, as we go through each game, we're going to talk about potential matchups and, he might, if there's any significant things to keep an eye on, but yeah.
But yeah, Renfro he's been nuts lately, and I think it continues, especially with Waller out.
Definitely, man, definitely.
All right, so our next game, we had the Cardinals, who are 13-point road favorites at the Lions.
Yeah.
Some news, though. James Conner hasn't practiced yet this week. Hopkins, he's out for the remainder of the regular season. They could have him back for the playoffs, though.
Yeah.
As for the Lions, though, Swift hasn't practiced yet this week.
Hawkinson broke his hand and had to have surgery.
Hawkinson had surgery on his thumb today, and he's now out for the remainder of the year.
Dang it.
And Jamal Williams is still on the COVID list.
Huh.
So, could we see Craig Reynolds breaking out again?
I don't think so.
And I do remember seeing something on the way here. Josh Reynolds was limited today with a thigh issue.
He's their speedster, really.
If you're in the playoffs in a standard 10-team league, would you start Amon-Ra St. Brown?
I mean, with his target volume, yeah.
Okay. It's one of those ones like I'd be up in the air on it.
I would play him in a flex if I didn't have any better options.
So my question for you, Cortland Sutton or Amon-Ra?
Amon-Ra.
Okay, Jerry Jeudy or Amon-Ra?
Higher floor, Amon-Ra.
Okay. I kind of agree with you there because Jerry Jeudy, you're just looking at the name value.
Yeah,
he hasn't had that workload.
Not this season, but there's no doubt in anybody's mind watching him at Alabama that he can do it and he can be the guy. He's just not. There's a lot of weapons in Denver, but Teddy Bridgewater,
I agree,
really spreads the ball around there.
Not even that. It's just they don't throw the ball much.
They don't have to. They have Melvin Gordon and Javonte Williams. I'm taking the Cardinals. My boy Murray's gonna go off for six touchdowns this week. I know it.
I'm gonna get with the Cardinals as well, and I kind of want to pull this or talk about this. Detroit, they're short on talent on the defensive side. At Arizona, they run the most 4 wide receiver sets and it's for 19% of their pass plays.
I believe it.
You're upgrading Arizona's receivers across the board.
Yeah, I told my wife last night, I said, go grab Christian Kirk because DeAndre Hopkins is out. So Christian Kirk could have a big game. A.J. Green could have a big game. Rondell Moore might.
This is more of a conversation for the offseason, but A.J. Green, free agent at the end of this year. Christian Kirk, free agent at the end of this year.
Where do they go? Do they stay? Do I stay or do I go now?
Rondell Moore become the number 2 on this team.
That'd be cool.
All right, so yeah, I said I am going to go with the Cardinals as well. You know the Lions, their record now is 1-11-1.
That's a lot of ones.
It's a palindrome.
Oof, that's 4 ones. Oofta.
All right, so our next game, we have the Cowboys, who are 10.5-point road favorites at the Giants. Some good news for Tony Pollard. He returned to practice today after not practicing yesterday. Cedric Wilson, he has been placed on the reserve COVID list, though.
And another one.
And Zeke.
DJ Khaled. Sorry.
And Zeke, good news. Like, he's saying that he's feeling better than he has in a while. And he was full practice this week so far.
Okay.
As for the Giants, Daniel Jones, he's been limited these last 2 days. But I think they've already ruled him out for Sunday, saying that Glennon will start. Judge was asked about Fromm getting some reps. So he said there's also plans for everyone to play. So this could be interesting. Saquon Barkley, he didn't practice Wednesday, but he did return today with an ankle issue. I think it's just more they're trying to manage him and keep him healthy.
Maintenance, healthy, yeah.
As for the Galladay, though, and when these teams faced in Week 5, Trayvon Diggs shadowed Galladay. Galladay did not have a catch that week.
Look, Galladay.
Not that he needs anything to help him be not productive.
Look, man, Galladay's one of those players where you're just hoping for some consistency.
Oh no, you're getting consistency from him.
Consistency, like good consistency, not the consistency that he has where he's just a dud, and then one game he does pretty well, and you're like, oh man, why did I have him on my bench? And then you gotta look at the weeks before, and you're like, oh, that's why he's on my bench, because you never know when he's gonna do that, and unless you have a crystal ball and can read the future, man, I don't know. I think Galladay can be dropped in all leagues.
All right, so who are you picking for this game?
Again, we never know what Dallas team is going to show up, but I like Dallas in this one. But, I mean, the Giants have surprised me once or twice this year, so I wouldn't be surprised if they pull this one out. But I'm going to go with Cowboys
I'm going with the Cowboys as well.
Maintain the division lead there.
So our next game, we have the Titans at the Steelers, and we don't have a lot of news on this game. There's not many injuries. The only injury that we have noted on here, Roethlisberger didn't practice yesterday with his pec and shoulder issue, but that's been consistent all year.
That's been part of the course.
But in this game, no matter what, you're starting Najee.
Oh, yeah. Yes, you are.
And you're trusting Claypool. You're trusting Deontay Johnson.
Freiermuth as well.
He's the tight end dart throw, like many tight ends out there.
Yeah.
As for the Titans,
is it gonna stick?
Are you considering starting anybody from the Titans?
I don't think so, man.
I mean, if you're super desperate, there might be some value in the running back room, but
at this point, I think it'd be Freeman. If that makes
Devontae
sense.
Freeman?
He's the one that had the rushing touchdown last week.
And Devonta Freeman plays for the Ravens.
There's a Freeman on that team.
Are you talking about Foreman? Deontay Foreman?
There's too many Freemans. Maybe that might be it. Yeah, I don't know.
I think you're talking about Foreman.
I played him last week in our keeper league. He did okay. He had
You also put Hilliard in the league. And then there's I can't think of his name now. He was the backup before Henry got hurt.
McNichols.
Yep, McNichols.
There's just too many people.
The Rams have 25 players on the COVID list.
What?
This week's been getting crazy.
I think they like boosted the sensitivity on these tests, man.
Well,
We
anyways,
didn't have it for months, and there was like 1 or 2 players a week, and now it's like everybody.
yep, Foreman.
Sorry.
So who are you picking for this game?
Without Derrick Henry, the Titans have been pretty unimpressive. Even though their defense is still solid, I still think Pittsburgh takes this one.
Okay, I'm taking Tennessee. Pittsburgh has not looked good lately.
Hey, look, they beat the Ravens a couple weeks ago.
The Ravens didn't look good.
Yeah, the Ravens don't ever look good, but everybody seems to think that the Baltimore Ravens are the cream of the crop of the AFC North.
All right, so our next game, I don't think you're starting anybody here now. Our
Yeah.
next game, you had the Texans at the Jags. The
I
Jags are
am.
3.5-point favorites. Rex Burkhead I think he was ruled out for Week 15, but I saw something that he was practicing in a limited fashion today. As for the big news out of Jacksonville,
Urban Meyer's gone.
Urban Meyer is gone.
I gave him a year. I'm pretty sure I said he'd be gone after a year, but he didn't even make it that long. So that dude was a cancer, man.
Urban Meyer, he lasted 13 games in Jacksonville. In
Okay.
those 13 games, he lost 11.
Right?
That is more than he lost in 7 seasons at Ohio State.
Well, you're not playing Purdue, and you're not playing
Well, still.
Maryland and Northwestern and Indiana.
Oh, I know, but still. He lost 9 games in 7 seasons at Ohio State.
Ooh, man.
I think Urban Meyer, he's done, at least in the NFL.
He's
And
not an NFL
I've
coach.
been hearing a lot of what was going, like a lot of things he was accused of, and
Kicking a kicker.
pictures that came out.
Yeah, the girl at the
I
bar.
don't know that he's going to coach ever again.
Yeah, he just needs to stay away from the game of football and let it move on. And he needs to.
But that could be good news for Robinson.
Yeah, I have a lot of love for Robinson. You know, undrafted guy last year, playing his butt off, and he carries the rock well. And I mean, he fumbles once and you pull him out of the game. Like, what is this?
I will
Pee-wee?
say, Darryl Bevel,
Mhm.
he's taken over as the interim head coach. He said James Robinson is our starting running back. He will be played as such.
Good. Maybe I have to play him in my
And-
flex and take Brandon Cooks out of my lineup.
Well, we heard last week what Trevor Lawrence said about him. James Robinson needs to be played.
yeah,
He-
the talent level's there, man. I mean, look what he did to Cincinnati. He ran all over Cincinnati, and Cincinnati's predominantly a good run defense.
So, and there could be a pass ball. There could be just a bump up for a lot of these players.
Yeah, a lot
Darryl
of-
Bevel, he has a very big connection with Marvin Jones.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe we see some plays called to get Marvin Jones the ball. Now, I'm not trusting any of these receivers right now if I'm in the playoffs,
not
but
yet.
it's something to keep an eye on.
Look, and there's been a lot of Darryl Breville. Sorry, Breville he's more of a player's coach, if that makes sense. Connects well with the players, and a lot of the old school coaches don't like that coaching style because they said it makes you vulnerable. It makes you come off as weak or seem like a nice guy, and you know it's the same thing that the new coach at Notre Dame. That coach, he said, I like being a player's coach.
Yeah.
I like having a connection with my players.
Yeah.
I like for them to be able to come up and talk to me and ask me questions and just talk about whatever. So this might be a boost for Jacksonville. It's not, obviously they're probably out of the playoff.
I think they are.
I don't know if they've been deemed out, but I would have think they would be.
You know, one thing I found interesting when the news with Lambeau, I was reading an article on it, and apparently Urban Meyer did not address the special teams players by their name. He called them dipshit, dumbass, kicker,
Meyer?
punter. Yeah.
What a douche. Excuse my language, everybody.
Yeah. And then apparently after he kicked Lambeau's like, don't effing kick me again. Like right out there on the practice field. Urban Meyer kind of cornered him, and like when he was getting food, when they're all alone. And so don't you ever talk to me like that again.
I would have punched that old man in his face.
Yeah.
I'll come at you like a spider monkey, Chip.
These aren't full. Like there was no witnesses to that part. Take these stories with a grain of salt. So the answer or what really happened might lay somewhere in between. But with all the news that came out on Meyer, I'm
not
pretty
good.
sure it's leaning more towards Lambeau might be right.
Yeah, I mean, this stuff doesn't. Hey, firefighter, 4 games we'll be talking about Packers Ravens. That's a good question, but I got your answer.
All right. Well, anyways, who you picking for this game?
I'm sticking with the Texans. I like the Jags. I do. I root for them.
I can't wait to see Trevor Lawrence to actually start producing.
Right? Yeah, definitely. Especially if you draft him in a league, especially a dynasty league. But I don't know. Davis Mills looked pretty solid last week, and he's still a rookie. But I like the way he looked last week, and Houston has a pretty good defense. So I'm taking the Texans.
Yep, I'm gonna go with Houston as well. So our next game, the Bengals at the Broncos. T. Higgins.
3 games, firefighter.
T. Higgins, he was limited yesterday and today. Burrow didn't practice yesterday, but that was so he could rest his finger. He was full practice today. As for the Broncos, though, Javonte Williams was limited yesterday and didn't practice today with a knee issue.
Uh-oh.
They are expecting him to play this week, though.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Melvin Gordon.
And then Melvin Gordon.
Neville Longbottom.
His thumb and hip, it kept him limited yesterday and today, but he's likely to play as well.
I think this is going to be a really good game.
It could be. And
But I also thought that about the Chargers.
now, we did
game.
see that Logan Wilson's still out, so that could give a bump for Fant and Okwebanam. Okwebanam.
That's not how you say his name. I don't think so.
And then
Albert O.
Chidobe Awuzie is out for the Bengals, one of their top tight or cornerbacks.
Yeah, they are. They are in dumpster fire. But I like Davis Mills, and he looked good last week. Not prior to that, but maybe being sat and just being able to watch again.
What I'm saying, though, with Awuzie out, it could give a bump for Jerry Jeudy.
Quite possibly, but I'm still not trusting him, man. You roll the dice if you want to, but Teddy Bridgewater.
Well, with Waddle out, I think I am running Jeudy out there because desperate. But
high ceiling.
Anyway, so you pick him for this game.
I want the Bengals to win. I just don't trust the Bengals. I don't trust Zach Taylor. I don't trust the coaching staff.
I trust the players.
I trust the players. There's so much talent on this team. They don't open up the playbook. They don't blitz. I mean, they don't really have to. They got 4 really good down linemen that can get pressure. But every now and then you got to change up your look a little bit on defense. But I don't trust this coaching staff in Cincinnati, and I hope they win. But I'm going with the Broncos.
I am going to go with the Broncos as well.
Hopefully we're wrong. I hope
I
I'm
agree.
wrong. I really hope I'm wrong. I really want to see Cincinnati succeed. I haven't seen them win in forever.
All right, well, our next game, we had the Falcons at the 49ers. The 49ers are 9-point home favorites.
Next game, firefighter.
Hayden Hurst, he's back at practice today.
He scored a touchdown last week.
Yeah, well, I mean, he was out yesterday.
Oh,
He's back at practice today.
gotcha.
The big one, though, to keep an eye on, Elijah Mitchell. He's been out with a concussion and knee issue. He didn't practice yesterday, but was working on the side with the training staff. Hopefully, we can see him back soon.
Well, Jeff Wilson is my RB2 in the Dynasty League, so if Mitchell comes back, I don't know who I'm going to play.
Well, I don't know if I trust Jeff Wilson right now with Deebo Samuel being the running back.
Me neither. Yeah, Deebo Samuel is more of a running back than a receiver. Gosh, dang it, man.
Kittle didn't practice yesterday, but he was back at practice today. But the good news is these 49ers receivers
Should have a field day.
they should have a much better day. They should be given a bump. The Falcons, they've allowed the 4th most fantasy points to wide receivers this season, as well as the 2nd most points to the perimeter.
They did lose A.J. Green, I think, or A.J. Terrell.
A.J. Green's with the Browns.
Okay, so I'm thinking a rookie defensive back. They've lost a lot of DBs this year early on in the season due to injury, so that could be why they're giving up. They're playing a lot of backups in that secondary.
It could be, but
you play the games that you got to play.
I'm running Ayuk out there.
Yeah.
Especially with
Yeah.
Deebo running more out of the backfield, it's opened up a lot more for Ayuk.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm going to go with the 49ers. I'm guessing you're taking the 49ers as well.
Yeah, they're right in my.
The Falcons are surprising 6-7 this year.
Yeah, you didn't. That's quiet 6 wins there, but
All right, so we'll jump now to the Packers, who are 5.5-point favorites on the road to the Ravens. Marcus Valdez-Scantling was limited yesterday with a back issue. Aaron Jones was limited yesterday. Did not practice today due to a illness, non-COVID related. Aaron Rodgers hasn't practiced this week out of the normal.
Again, he doesn't
fractured
have to.
pinky toe.
He doesn't have to practice.
Lamar Jackson hasn't practiced yet this week. The Ravens state that he is day to day, and it could come down to the wire. They're saying, realistically, to answer your question, firefighter, I'm not considering Jackson.
Yeah, no,
it's going to be Rodgers in that case.
I mean, I think it was 3 weeks ago when he threw 4 interceptions against the Browns defense. That I was kind of like, yeah, this ain't good. And then the next week he didn't do very well, and then got hurt last week against the Browns again.
So I got a question for you.
Okay,
who has scored a rushing touchdown more recently, Lamar Jackson or Sam Darnold?
I feel like that's a trick question, and it's very obvious, but I'm going to say Sam Darnold.
It is Sam Darnold. Lamar Jackson, while he's running the ball, he's not scoring the touchdowns.
Yeah, and it's like Kyler Murray. He's not running as much, but when he does run the ball, he does kind of score a touchdown.
Yeah. And
because they're running him from the 4-yard line.
I did want to mention Hollywood Brown. He didn't practice yesterday or today due to illness as well.
Yeah.
So he could, if he's out.
Bateman and Andrews.
Yeah, I think Andrews should have a big game either way.
Hey, firefighter, to answer your questions about Rodgers and Lamar Jackson. Hey.
Oh, we told him Rodgers.
Yeah, we're both saying Rodgers, but here's the deal, man. In my dumpster fire rebuild dynasty league, I have Aaron Rodgers at QB, Matthew Stafford at QB, and Mac Jones. Pretty much the whole year I was starting Matt Stafford. And then I don't know what happened, but I decided to play Aaron Rodgers over Stafford. And then Stafford went on a bye. And then I just decided to keep Rodgers in there, and it's been the right decision ever since. I mean, every week, those last 3 weeks, it's been the right decision.
Now, Packers receivers, they actually get a nice bump here.
Okay.
Baltimore has allowed the 5th most fantasy points to outside receivers this season, including the most to the left and right perimeter over the past 8 weeks. Devontae Adams, big play. Lazard could be a solid play here.
Yeah, I like Lazard. I call him Lazard.
So I'm going to go ahead and take the Packers. Who are you taking in this game?
Yeah, I'm taking the Pack. Go Pack, go.
All right.
I went to college in Wisconsin, so I kind of have to. And I hate Baltimore.
All right, so we got the Seahawks, the Rams. The Rams are 4.5-point home favorites.
But you just said their entire team, half of their roster is on the COVID list.
This was as of last night. But there's also some injuries for the Seahawks. Alex Collins was limited yesterday with an abdomen issue.
Yeah, Rashad Penny's taken
COVID list today.
Yeah, Rashad Penny is taking over RB1 there.
DK Metcalf, foot back issue, hasn't practiced yet this week. Tyler Lockett placed on the reserve COVID list today.
Jeez.
As for the Rams, I think Darrell Henderson's still on the COVID list.
Jeez.
OBJ is the only other player that's on the offense I've seen placed on the COVID list.
I just wonder who the other 23 people may be.
It could be some coaches. It could be packed squad guys.
True.
But if OBJ's out, I think that gives a huge bump to Van Jefferson.
Yeah.
And if Henderson's out,
Sonny Michel's
a lock in your lineup.
Man, he's looked really good these last 2 weeks without Henderson taking away carries and touches from him.
So, looking at those wide receivers, though, Russell Wilson could be throwing Dwayne Eskridge, Will Dissly.
You going to say that?
Gerald Everett.
And Jeff Swain, or whatever his name is.
Yep. So, I mean, realistically, if those guys are out.
Oh, Gerald Everett.
I already said Everett.
Oh, sorry.
If those guys are out for sure, I don't know that I'm starting anybody on the Seahawks offense.
Oh.
Now, I will say with that, this just seems like the game, the narrative that Russell Wilson can take and go get the win.
Yeah, like Aaron Rodgers does.
But I'm going to go ahead and take the Rams.
Hey, look, the Rams came off of a very impressive team effort win against Arizona on Monday night, and I think they're at that point where they've answered the call. They had their bounce back game 2 weeks ago against the Jags, and they took on the first place team in their division, still the first place team, Arizona Cardinals last week, in Arizona and beat them at home. I think they come home riding high. Yeah, I take the Rams too.
All right. So our next game, we have the Saints at the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers are currently 11-point favorites. Some good news for the Saints. Adam Troutman's been designated to return from IR.
Okay.
Now, they haven't said he's going to play this week, but that's some good news right there because I really like Adam Troutman.
Yeah.
Now, I will say, Nick Vannett, I think he had a 20% target share last week with Harris out.
Okay.
So if Troutman doesn't play, Vannett could be a dart throw tight end.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
As for the Bucs, Leonard Fournette, he hasn't practiced yet this week with an ankle issue.
I think it's probably maintenance, man. We're late
It
this
could
season.
be.
We're getting down to the
Giovanni
wire.
Bernard, I think, was just placed on the IR.
Yeah, he's hurt. So you got to keep your guys healthy.
Ronald
man.
Jones hasn't played much for them.
Mm-mm.
So hopefully it is just
Now
maintenance.
watch it these playoff weeks. Now Ronald Jones decides to show up.
But I don't think it's been his choice. He just hasn't been on the field.
Yeah, but Arians is gonna be like, "Hey, get out there, go for
Now-
it, kid," and he's just gonna dominate.
Firefighter, we're going to talk about Evans now, like you mentioned.
Yeah,
Evans, he's going to be shadowed by Lattimore.
and he
They've had
struggles.
a lengthy history of this.
And Lattimore really plays Evans well.
I think I saw something that Evans averages like 0.4 fantasy points a game when shadowed by Lattimore.
0.4, not even a half a point.
Yeah. And when these two teams faced in week 8, Evans only went 2 for 48 with a touchdown. Like he saved you with a touchdown, but you're not banking on that with only 2 catches.
No, that's only 12.8 points, man.
But the good news is, this is a bump for Godwin.
Yeah, I mean, Godwin's gonna eat. He's been on a tear recently. Like what, 25 receptions the last 2 weeks?
Yeah, he's been nuts lately. I think he had 15 receptions 2 weeks ago, and I think 10 last week.
I
Yeah.
thought it was 12, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I agree with you, Firefighter. I hope Kelsey produces as well. We mentioned he's had the same stat line the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
All right, so Ryan, who are you picking for Saints and Bucks?
I like New Orleans, but I think the Bucks take this one. I think they're mad. I mean, we saw what happened last year. You know, the Saints.
It's back in Tampa Bay.
Yeah, Saints.
Saints
you know,
took the 2 regular season, and the Bucks took the playoffs.
just dominated. Well, last year Drew Brees was there, but
Now,
yeah.
I still do think Taysom Hill could be a play here.
Yeah, you're playing Taysom Hill and you're playing Alvin Kamara. I don't think you dart throw with Vannett or Troutman.
No, I will
Temper
say
expectations.
I will say, like, the tight end is a way to beat the Bucks. That's where
Yeah.
you're going to see a lot more of your production.
But on the other side of the ball, you're playing Fournette, you're playing Brady, you're playing Godwin, you're
Yeah.
playing Gronkowski.
Yeah. I'm taking the Bucks as well. So we'll get to the Monday night game. The Vikings at the Bears. The Vikings are 3.5-point favorites.
Go Bears.
Adam Thielen, he didn't practice today. Their first day of the week that they practice. But Mike Zimmer said he is hoping Thielen will be available on Monday. Other than that, there's really not much injury news. I know David Montgomery didn't practice with a non-COVID related illness today, though.
He just had upset belly.
Yeah, but he didn't practice his first practice the week last week either.
Yeah.
Minnesota, though, they have allowed the most fantasy points to wideouts this season, including over the past 8 weeks and 4 weeks. That's weird.
Yeah, I
phrasing.
don't understand why that's.
Yeah, but they have not been good defensively.
No.
Oh yeah, I do remember though. Allen Robinson has been placed on the COVID list as well.
Darnell
for the
Mooney time.
It's going to be a full moon tonight.
Is it?
Ryan, please don't pull down your pants.
Is
We
it?
don't need you.
Is
No,
it?
I was joking.
Oh,
I was going with the Mooney theme.
just so everybody knows, I don't go outside when it's a full moon. I don't go out past 6 p.m. Full
He tries
moons.
to avoid going outside no matter what.
And Friday the 13th, I don't go outside.
He's not superstitious. He's just a little stitious.
Two of the worst days of my life happened once on a Friday the 13th and a full moon. So I don't do it anymore.
So, I mean, I'm still starting Montgomery, Mooney, probably, and Fields could definitely be a good start here.
Fields looked good last week.
As for the other side, Cousins, he's, I think, quarterback 9 on the year.
Yeah,
He's
doing
been
pretty
very
good.
consistent.
He's been doing all right.
You're starting Cook. that guy. If he's
Yeah,
playing, you're starting.
Yeah, if Dalvin Cook's playing, you're playing him.
And then
Then
hopefully
your starting
Justin
lineup.
Jefferson eats this week.
I think he will. If I'm Minnesota, I'm sitting Thielen just to make sure he gets healthy. But
You still got a shot at a playoff run.
yeah, I mean, you take care of your guys and hope your team can pull through here.
So, Ryan, who are you taking for this game?
I think initially I said the Vikings, but
You struggle taking the Vikings.
I really do. I really do. I don't like picking the Vikings. I think I'm half right with the Vikings, no matter which way I go. Initially said Vikings. I think I'm gonna go with the Bears this weekend.
Interesting.
With Justin Fields back, that offense moves. What happened now?
49ers practice report. Elijah Mitchell was did not practice today. Kittle was limited. But I am going to go take the Vikings this game.
Hey, Anheuser, if you would like to sponsor us, well, me, I would love that. Anheuser. I guess it's not appropriate for the YouTube, but people always get Tim the Tap Man. He shows his stuff on the video. But my wife, my awesome wife, got me this brewmate for my birthday. And I've been using it, and it keeps whatever beverage is in here ice cold.
Keeps his Pepsi cold.
Keeps my Anheuser cold.
Well,
Anheuser Pepsi.
Anyways, that's the last game we got. That
Yeah,
concludes our
Bears.
Week 15 preview.
The Bears.
Once again, we thanks for the interactions on Twitch. We hope to see you back on here, Firefighter.
Yeah, man, it was great having you.
Just so you guys know, next week with Christmas coming up, I have some family stuff on Thursday, so we're gonna record on Monday and Wednesday.
Monday and Wednesday.
Other than that, please like us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
Can I ask one question before we go?
Sure.
Hey, does anybody out there, if you're old enough to remember, does anybody remember Red Stripe commercials? You know, the Jamaican beer?
Red Stripe. It's Jamaican for beer.
Hooray, beer! When I was in Jamaica in April or in July, they all loved it. They would all say, "Hooray, beer!" No matter what beer you were drinking.
You know, there's one channel I really remember seeing those commercials on, Fox Sports.
Yes, every Monday night football game.
Well, Fox Sports wasn't on. Fox Sports is I.
Are you talking about FS1?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Reds games. Yep, Cincinnati Reds. Yeah, we're a Firefighter. We see you're in Houston. Are you a Texans fan? Because we're Bengals fans and Cincinnati Reds fans, and that's bad.
Well, while we're waiting for the answer, like I said, please like us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Like and subscribe on YouTube. Share us. Like us on Anchor, Spotify, Google Podcast.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you don't want to see our ugly mugs, you can definitely just wait until we upload them. Barbara usually gets those online the night that we record on
For the
Twitch.
most part.
For the most part, we have the podcast up every Monday and Thursday night. So,
All right. Well, anyways, we appreciate everybody who tunes in, and you guys have a good rest of your day.
deuces.